Good morning, morning. We'll start in a few minutes. Checking my sound. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Starting in a couple minutes. Looks like my mic volume. Oh, now it's the same. Oh, who knows? All right. Start in a minute. Let some people get in here. Good morning, good morning. What's up, guys? Just getting in there. Yo, check. Hey. Oh. If it's not one thing, it's another. All right, my mic is acting weird sometimes. I have no freaking idea why. All right, we'll get going soon. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to do some live analysis, look for trades, talk about things, see what's going on in real time, what we can catch. Hopefully my mic's not going to act up. All right. Let's get going. I am good. I'm tired, but I always say that. I'm always tired, right? Midweek. How to understand buying, test, selling, play. Yeah, we can get into that once I do my initial analysis. I'll answer any question. Everything is clear. Sounds good. All right. So yesterday, if you remember, and you can see it right here, we talked about, as far as background, what's the story here, what's going on, where's big money position from, in what direction, what are they doing, right? First thing that stood out, especially in the dollar pairs, weakness, strength, close together, both high volume, equilibrium. You tend to get stuck in the middle. And we had this really flat day. Also, correlation-wise, look at the U.S. market yesterday. Look at that. Look at that day. It was a very choppy. It was like nobody knew what the heck's going on. It just like painted itself into a corner, and nobody knew what was next. Look at that day yesterday. Looks like a holiday, right? But when you have weakness and strength close together, you don't have an imbalance in price. It's hard to move, isn't it? And that's the first thing I pointed out yesterday. At some point in the session, we saw that, okay, higher prices aren't showing much supply, so we may be able to go up, right? Then we kind of came down, and that was it. And we didn't do anything. What a terrible, well, that's that market, but the euro dollar, U.S. session. Just all through here. Not much going on. Volume was on the low side, right? Followed by this, preceded by this stuff. So that didn't help. And we're still stuck in the middle, as I say, that you're going to get with these sort of things. Again, repeating myself from yesterday. If we can find out about sellers for real, if we can get an imbalance, right? It's not that buying and selling, in large amounts is not active. They're both active in similar amounts. You tend to get stuck in the middle, especially when you get in the middle area. You get chopped, you get stuck. Look how many hours we're just here. All right, predictable stuff. Again, yesterday I started the session talking about that, and here we are. So very simple: buying here, selling here, equilibrium in the middle, chop, chop, chop. Especially really in the middle. As you move up or as you move down, things can start to move. A little more healthy on the movement. But if you can't get there, then you're stuck in the middle, right? And that can go on for a while. Yeah, any questions I'll answer after I do my initial analysis. I see you. Now, there was some buying on the pound. There was some weakness on the yen, pointing to strength on the yen pairs against the yen. And that just didn't come around as far as a setup. So I ended up with a few scalps yesterday, 3 or 4, something like that. But as far as the typical trade that sets up U.S., it got hairy out there. So, no loss taken looking for that New York trade, but nothing clear, high probability that it was showing up. So I ended up with a few scalps. That's fine. And as I was saying, waiting for that news to come out and seeing as I was saying yesterday, the initial move on news and the reaction avoided any sort of bad trade, any loss. Because that was saying sell on a lot of pairs, some pairs showing weakness when you had strength in the background. So I really didn't want to sell. And I said I don't trust it, as I said in the Discord, right? When this was coming down, I said I don't trust it. Look at that. Did I buy? No, I did not, right? I didn't have a buy signal. So I ended up with a short scalp. My last scalp of the day was somewhere in here, and that was it. Okay. So that is still the case here, right? If we can test higher or lower and find our imbalance, right? Maybe we move down and see large buying or not, and move up, see large selling or not. Trading the range is really not an issue at all if we just need to get to these higher or lower areas, right? I have no problem trading a range, buying low and selling high. If volume agrees and says that it's a range, right? This isn't, what is it, accumulation, distribution? No, it's simply a range. Volume says so. And again, the getting stuck in the middle was very predictable. I have no issue buying low and selling high, particularly in these cases, the fake breakout. Absolutely perfectly good trade if volume agrees, generally into this zone, but ideally, if you do see that today, right? Volume confirming. Nothing wrong with that. I do want to avoid the middle. As you can see, it's been stuck for, whatever that is, 16 hours. So let's get moving and get some imbalance, right? So that was the deal with the dollar pairs, the US dollar pairs, that choppy, sloppy background. We'll go in order here. So the pound dollar, again, is US dollar driven. So you see that same situation. And I didn't highlight it yesterday because, I ended up focusing on the yen pairs a little more and all that. And we never got there anyway. But here, again, is really the only trade I would take in this environment. If things change, that's fine, Ideally, the fake break doesn't have to be. So I'll put the ideal. So again, it's a range. It's not distribution or accumulation because volume says so, right? Yesterday didn't give much help to clarify. Very odd, sort of choppy day yesterday. But, by the way, the way we're trading, we didn't get any false entries. It was just something that, okay, I'll sit here and wait until it clears up and, got some scalps. Everything good with the sound. Okay, good. So that applies to the dollar pairs. You see the dollar index. Again, that same situation. So if things change, then things change. That's what it is right now. One example is, obviously, again, the range trade. I have no problem with that. Buying low, selling high. And if that doesn't set up, again, just talking about the options that I would do in this particular environment. Besides looking for strength or weakness to buy low, sell high, if we could break out of the range, let's say to the downside, and we don't see strength, and we say, okay, that's a real breakout, right? Sure, I'll be looking for shorts. If lower prices aren't showing buyers, right? Maybe I'm looking for weakness to sell. Maybe I'm getting a scalp in just a nice strong trend, right? The 14 EMA entry. So one way or the other, right? Either demand shows up or it doesn't, and hopefully we get clear answers if we can touch these ranges. So again, it's very different from accumulation distribution ranges. The volume defines that stuff, right? So that's the first thing. And again, that's being caused by the US dollar. So that's going to be everywhere unless there's something going on with the other currency. Maybe the Canadian dollar is a little weak, and that's why we were able to move up here. But it's not because the US dollar is driving any sort of trending move right now for the last couple of days. And it's not set up to do a predictable trending move, right? The pre-positioning is mixed. Factual information. Here we are dead center, you know. It's like a magnet. It just gets stuck there, and it's hard to get away from it when you get to this stuff. So something that you don't see as often as, you know, all the other stuff that we're normally looking at, but predictable, as I talked about this yesterday, and here we are again still. So we'll see what happens as we move around, if we get the range trade buy low, sell high, or something different happens or whatever may occur here. But that's the context. Now, that's the dollar pair is being driven by the US dollar for that situation. The yen, let's see what we're doing. Looks like the yen might be joining the chop party. But if you look at the chart, right, the volume, again, just pointing out what I showed yesterday real quick, shows weakness on the yen. It doesn't have this situation of buyers show up here, sellers show up here, and we really have no imbalance and no expected trend. We don't really see buying here. We don't see that much activity. We have weakness. Weakness, right? This is very typical sort of weakness in the background, right? So if the yen is weak, again, then that would give us potential long against the yen on these yen pairs. And if we look at them, again, has anything really changed? And if you notice on the smaller time frames here, that does back it up. We looked at that yesterday as far as strength. It was such a quiet day too, volume-wise, right? Even on the news, we couldn't get this sort of activity that we normally get on news and U.S. Open. So, but the background on the yen pairs, again, you see high volume here. Are we seeing selling into up moves? Weakness, not so much. So still bullish on the yen pairs. And if things just want to be nice and easy today, as far as this type of trade, you know, besides scalps, I'm looking for lower prices to buy. I do want to mark, it's 9 minutes after the hour. I do want to mark the London hour trade, as I call it. I have a video on that explaining the setup. And I'm marking the first hour of London session on the pound. We'll get in there and tighten that up, the level. High and low of the first hour of London session on the pound. If this trade gives a long entry, right, it goes with the background. But again, with this stuff, you know, it was nice to observe it and test it out on the side account and really observe, you know, as a standalone situation what goes on in that second hour of London when things tend to happen outside of that initial range, and then taking that experience and observation of how it behaves and applying it with general analysis at this point. We know that going short would be against the background. It would have to look really good, maybe, for me to take it, as in really lack of demand up here still. Because where are these buyers positioned from on the, let's say, the pound yen? Lower. Their position's lower. So if there's lack of demand here, I wouldn't be surprised that it does come down and then find its demand lower. Yeah, but we're dealing with some sloppy stuff here, aren't we? Let's get to the 5-minute. And so, of course, it has to break out of that first hour's range or do a fake breakout, either way, for any potential setup here. Okay. Tighten up the levels. Good. Okay. That's 405. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so according to that setup, I mean, I'd rather be buying low today on the pound. But after I just talked about how terrible this is, now I'm going to go short here. But that's a lot of volume for that time of day, too. Well, it is London Open. Just comparing. It's about average. So if this closes down, again, it's a time-based thing. So we're looking at it right now, potentially setting up for a short in a generally bullish background. But again, those buyers are down lower, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a real break here. It depends on how much demand comes in. But I may consider putting something on this. Let's see how it behaves. Dealing with some chop, right? The charts are just looking choppy sometimes here this week. Again, after that equilibrium stuff, looks like the yen might have caught a bit of that too. Look at that buying down there. London Open is here, and there was some legit buying here. Is that a euro thing? Time was that 3:15 yen. 3:15. Yeah. Okay. So weak yen. Actually, today, the highest volume point is again showing weak yen. So it's much more straightforward once again on the yen pairs, buying against that weak yen. Just get these marked up. So again, what the chart does show, very different from this equilibrium situation with the dollar pairs, is that the smart money is positioned long on these yen pairs from lower down. If we drop down, I'll be looking to buy. Of course, if it sets up. Well, notice the buying that went on at this level previously. We may get that again. All right, so that's our general situation. Equilibrium, wait and see, caused by the US dollar. Range trade possible until we do see an imbalance. And strength on the yen pairs. Strength in the background. Again, today, EJ, yeah, you really see that actually show up. Very little supply up here. This could continue up very soon. So we got that possibly brewing. Possibly brewing. And meanwhile, this guy. Well, as far as the London Open trade, right, that is an entry. It's against the background. Do I really trust it? I could maybe go small position on that. With maybe a stop just above the swing point. This is a pound-driven situation, so I don't mind the U.S. dollar flatness. This is looking like weak pound, so I'm going to put something on this here. Let's see the 1 minute. Yeah, really no issue with any sort of demand coming in. So this is very likely a real breakout. If we look at 618 overshoot is where you could potentially run into buying. Again, not there. I haven't entered yet. I'm just watching. But if it does a fake breakout and this closes back into range, well, that's a bullish pattern and not much I would want to do with that. But this is much more likely to break to the downside here because getting to this area and not seeing strength. In fact, seeing the opposite. No demand. And again, if this volume is low, start to come down as a result, yeah, we're likely getting to the next checkpoint. Support, whatever it is. But I was thinking about entering, but I didn't. Let's see. Because once you break out, whether you're going off of that first hour's range or this resistance support right here, once you get here, you want to stay there. Immediately coming back is a bullish pattern. So that's a bit of a mismatch as far as going short. So nothing yet on that. Could remain choppy for a while. Yeah, the charts will tell us when it figures itself out. Yeah. Maybe we'll just look for those range trades. On your broker, high volume on the GU. High volume? That's really different, huh? I'll check another broker right here. High volume? You have a broker that's showing high volume on this candle? That's kind of crazy. I mean, I see that it could obviously definitely vary, but either way, I'm looking at medium to low volume. The second lowest volume of the session is there. On that broker, FXCM shows the second lowest volume of the session. This one being the lowest at support here. So, I don't know about that broker, whatever you're using. That's weird. You might want to use FXCM. I've been using it a while. You know, I have switched over the years because things change. Nothing stays the same forever. FXCM used to have terrible volume, actually. But been using it for a while. So maybe you can switch to that. Because that's odd. Yeah, very odd. If you have high volume here. Yeah, looking like really this. Yeah, I mean, they're both showing second lowest volume. Both brokers. So, yeah, good enough, right? Call it low volume. So what's going on factually here is buy activity is not coming in at support, but are sellers really going into markdown activity? No, not yet. Oh, okay. I'll switch things up. I'll switch cables and mics. I'll take a little break and do that. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. Again, what's happening here is there's not much demand coming in at the support low of the session, London session, but we're not seeing markdown kind of activity here. We're just sitting here. It is more likely to break to the downside though because of that. Yeah, I'll have to switch up. Maybe replace the cable and the mic and see if that works. But that's the 1 minute chart just to get in there and see. But yeah. But I think it's pretty easy to see the kind of the factual information. Again, that's also a 618 overshoot. So this is all area where buying would come in and show activity if buyers were interested at this level. And they're not. Are we going to mark down? Most likely, but it's a bullish pattern. So, again, I'm just waiting. The London hour trade did not obviously set up here for anything, so that's that. So, we'll check in on that pound dollar. Meanwhile, again, yen pair is showing strength in the background. Yesterday was a crappy, choppy day. Some profit on scalps, but the background has not played out. Did not play out yesterday. Yeah, this thing wants to go, doesn't it? It does. Yeah, I got a position on that. There it goes. Yeah, I got a position on the pound dollar. Very likely a breakout there to the downside on the pound dollar. Very likely. Put my stop just above there. The 5 minute swing point. 20 pips. Very likely a real breakout. Look at that low, low, low volume there. Now, so I'm going to chill in this with my stop loss here. The only thing that's going to, freak me out is all of a sudden we see high volume reject a low price. And that background being bullish, right? This is against the background. But again, where are those buys positioned from? Much lower. Well, this is the pound dollar. I was thinking of the pound yen. But here's where we saw buying the last time. This one has more of a flat background anyway. I was thinking of the pound yen. Get that bigger fib in there. That's just the range of the day so far. Where's my chat? My windows are a mess. Check, check, check. We're good? Okay. Oh, fine now. Okay, good. Which cable is it? Is it my mic cable? Is it the cable from the mixer to the computer? Is it the channel on the mixing board? Is it the microphone? Did I mention that? Carbon. Yowling. So I have a little position on the pound dollar short. That's likely going to be a real breakout. Technically on this setup, also marking the low to the high of the first hour of the London session. It doesn't mean I'm going to absolutely take it, especially I'm already in on the short and the pound, but maybe something small to add to it. I'm going to keep my risk in check here, though. But that technically would also be an entry on that particular trade setup. As most of you know, it's not my main trading method, something that we tested live a few weeks ago and saw there was some merit to it. And then now to include that with the rest of the analysis, like, for example, the 618 overshoot of the fib from this low to high, 61.8 retracement back, not showing strength. And that typically means you're going to get to support. So there's a bunch of things lined up. Looking today so far, well, the dollar pairs, you still have the same. Here's the euro versus the dollar. You still have the same background situation. You got large buy activity here. You got large sell activity here. They're both close together. And then you had a stuck in the middle sort of reaction. So I'd look to sell up here again if that shows up, or buy here. This is not a situation you see most of the time. So if this kind of volume here, right at the low, shows up again, I don't need it on the 1 hour chart here, just like smaller time frames, and get in there and see buying volume come up to reject. And the usual, way to get into trades that I do. But that's how you deal with the sideways chop, right? The buying, the selling, you get stuck in the middle. Again, this is like the first thing I mentioned yesterday. We're likely getting stuck in the middle. Sorry to break it to you. At least it was predictable and you didn't get yourself into a bad trade. But yeah, let's get up here or down here for an opportunity. And again, if you get up there or down there and you don't see this volume showing up, okay, maybe we can finally get out and take it from there, But that's the pairs against the U.S. dollar, euro, U.S., pound. That's the situation that the U.S. dollar is creating. If you get to the yen pairs, the yen driving those moves, we're generally looking to buy low today because that's what we have positioned. Buying down here, buying. And we're actually revisiting this area potentially right now. So we get to see if those buyers show up again, right? So, as I say, it's about the volumes down here telling you where the big activity was, right? The big money. And what they did. If they buy low and sell high, right? Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Here we did not see a lot of sell activity. So I'm okay with buying, Let's go. And here we certainly did see buy activity, right? Nothing too complicated, right, Carbon? So they, it's like price areas. They bought here a lot. Maybe they'll do it again, right? And we'll see the volume telling us they're doing it. And again, it's nice to know that there wasn't much selling up here. So maybe, if we get here, that's a nice trade. But that's potentially possible to, actually get out of this and go higher. And that's basically called accumulation, accumulating buy positions. Nothing too complicated, right? Yes. That's the joke. Two directions, yes. Up and down. All right, so I'm sitting in a bit of profit on the first trade of the day here. Pound, dollar short. London hour trade setup, right? Combined with other things. Yes. Yes. So if I see any trouble with strength coming in, I can move my stop to break even, right? I knew it was a good thing to do. I felt like it was worth it. Like, let's take the time, what was it, last month? Let's take the time and look at what happens. For me, it's 4 a.m. on, at that point when something kicks in, right? And just focus on that. Now we're including that with the rest of the analysis. Again, this was a fib. So without that, I would already be saying, oh, buyers are not showing up. It's likely a real breakout. But then it also ties in with that trade, with the London hour trade, right? Now, I don't need to worry about some huge risk reward. My stop was right here. So I don't have to, I don't need some huge target. There's a bit of volume popping up there. Nothing crazy. Now I'm like obsessively checking my sound because it's stupid. I don't know what. It's not working. Okay. But there it goes. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about targets. All I know is to the left, there's buying. I mean, particularly the yen pairs, but what was it? What level was it? Oh, it's lower, right? Here. Down closer to, yeah, that's like, 1,500 pips away. So that's why I'm not worried about it now. Okay. I'm just going to manage this however the frick I feel like it. All right. So here is a nice little target for this entry. Bam. Bam. Back in the 90s, we used to say the skills that paid the bills. Maybe I put a little something in the bank and put my stop at break even just because it's a support. And that was like very high probabilities to get to that point. And then take it from there. Or maybe I'll just watch it drop and cha-ching. All right, guys. Have a good one. See you. Is that enough for today? All right, we'll hang out. Bam. Been here 30 minutes. Been here 30 minutes. We're already good. I should have drawn it like that. I mean, that was a little too optimistic. Take its time. No? You need another 2 hours. Okay. Will you aim for 5 minutes? Oh, maybe it's time for a headset finally. The product that made the money, honey. I know I need to buy a headset for Carvin and I play Xbox, and I use the phone app to be in the party. I don't want a headset while I play. Unless it's frickin' Call of Duty, then you got to hear. You really got to, hear the footsteps. Another 2 hours at least. Ugh. I got your profit already, and you're making me stay. All right, well, send me half of what you just made. Yeah, we'll hang out. I'm just kidding. We'll hang out. I'm going to trim down. Actually, I'm not. I mean, this trade just keeps going as I'm like, maybe it's slowing down. No, it's not. It's not. All right. Oh, there we go. I see you. I see you, buyers. I see you. Okay. Closing half the trade. Stop at break even. This is, you see the volume kicking up? Yeah. I'm going to close a decent portion. See that volume? We have found some buyers. Yeah, I'm close a little more than half, huh? 3/4. Yeah, done deal. Well, that was easy. The skills that pay the bills. And what was the other one? The product that makes the money honey. I'm not sure if that's quite right. The product? Yeah, something. You can hear the money racking from a mile away. I'll send you half my demo profit to use. It's It is product that makes the money, honey. Okay. There was a song, "Skills That Pay the Bills." It was like a thing. I remember. Stupid. Anyway. So that's a good reason to. For me, I close almost the whole trade, 3/4 of the trade, to be exact, and stop at break even. Man, that was easy. The London Open Trade, man. What do I call it? The London Hour Trade. I don't know what am I calling it? London Hour Trade. If anyone is attending and they're new or they don't know what I'm talking about, I have a video dedicated to teaching this trade entry that we just took short. It catches amazing big moves with amazing entry timing, right? But it's not the highest win rate. So what you do is you take that and mix it in with the rest of your analysis. So again, not seeing buyers at a 618, very high probability you get to support. So combining those two, right? That was enough for me. Because look at that low volume. Look at that, right? Again, some of you just got the scalp course. I appreciate that. Low volume breakout, right? It's in the course. So it's not like some, it's just one, it just adds some opportunity at this time of day, which is really nice because before this, a lot of times I'm sitting around waiting for a setup that may not come until New York session, right, and all that. So this helps you get something going early. All right. Well, pressure's off me. What do we do now? Put on some music, roll a doobie. Yeah, it was freaking easy. So again, I know it's Carbon outside of the trading world, so he's finally joining here because he's up late. Does this make sense? You're getting it. As you, like I said, you'll just pick up things every time you attend until you finally know everything going on. Was this making sense why I sold here? Slowly but surely, yeah. Every day you'll pick up something. But today, know that, right? That, and again, I've taken this indicator and colored it a certain way, different from how it was programmed. It's not 100% accurate, but it helps you see green this is activity in the market, right? Activity. And that's why here you see that green coming in. That's why I took some profit. It tends to show, right? So at this point, like, why did I sell here? Look at you're at an area. Yeah, don't worry about that today. But you're at an area where if buyers are interested in buying, this is where they'll do it. Worry about that later. Just understand this one point, right? This is where buyers will show up if they're interested. So to have the extreme low activity in the market down here, the volume says, whoa, buyers are nowhere to be found, right? And generally, if you're trending, right, you're already moving, and then there's this lack of buying, you're not done, right? You're going to go down till you find that more aggressive buying. But this was a particular spot and a particular time of day, but don't even worry about that yet. Today, just know that about the volume, right? Lower prices can bring buyers or not. Higher prices can bring sellers or not, right? And this way you know where they're positioning. When I say they, I'm talking about big money that knows what they're doing. And, like, I don't need a whole bunch of sources to tell me how to read the market because I can just follow them, you know? I'm not watching Bloomberg. I don't care what the news is, you know? I don't need any COT reports or any of this stuff. And somebody asked about that, right? Any of the stuff that's going to help me understand, you know, or, you know, open orders, open positions that brokers may share on their website. I don't need any of that, right? You just see it right here. This is real time. So that much makes sense to you, right? Pretty easy. Yeah, watch the video. But it's actually good, Carbon, to have like somebody who doesn't know anything. So I end up talking about some of these simple things again. Because sometimes I'll just get way too advanced. And if people are coming into this live stream and they don't know much, they're going to be like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. So sometimes to go back to the simple basics is good. Troy. Yeah, it's the ultimate source of information is the volume. Volume changed trading for me. That's what made it work. I mean, I spent a long time, you know, observing this stuff and figuring it out and learning from sources and taking it all in, you know. But that's what did it. All of a sudden, like, you're informed. You're not guessing, you know. You're informed about facts. And then from there, you can judge probabilities, right? It's like if the forecast is rain and then you feel one drop of rain, it's an extremely high probability that it's going to rain for real now for the next 15 minutes at least, hour, whatever, right? It's all probabilities, but you get facts so you know. That's a good example, right? So Bloomberg is actually worth it to other traders and their styles, question mark. You know what Bloomberg is great for? It's kind of like SNL. It's a total shit show. It's completely unprofessional. I'm glad Michael Bloomberg is not running the country because he did want to do that. Oh man, I've seen some funny moments on Bloomberg. Miscommunication, very uncomfortable guests. Oh, it's a shit show. It's great. I'm talking about the London this time of day. Like Asia, you know, they got their stuff together. They're fine. Like, but man, the people at this time of day, oh gosh, what a mess. It's freaking hilarious. Bloomberg, oh, I'm talking about just like right now, you could go on YouTube and search Bloomberg, you know, live streaming, and it's there. You know, there's commercials, but it's Bloomberg TV. That's all I'm talking about. Nothing paid. I guess I'm supposed to be looking for trades, but you know, that was a lot of hard work selling that, so I need a break now. Oh, sorry. Did I miss some? Did not get your Scout PayPal thing via email yet. I got a notification that you did. Oh my gosh. Something went weird. Oh no, I was just talking about Bloomberg TV. Yeah. They cost $2K a month. Doesn't the chart tell us what we need to know? Yeah. I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Mr. Knox. I will make sure that you get that. Yeah, it was sent, and I even got a confirmation that it was sent. Maybe it went to your spam folder. I don't know. I'll send it again. Yeah, sorry about that. I absolutely did it, though. It's funny because I did two yesterday. One worked and one didn't. How much for the London hour strategy? It is free. But as we're seeing, right, it's taking what we learned from testing that live and now just working it into everything else. So it's not even a standalone system that I would recommend. Cool, cool. All right, I only have a third of my original position on with my stop at break even. And we do see the buy activity, right? So whatever, if you're in it, you could close it. I would at least have most of it closed because of this, right? Very clear what's happening here. Again, this strength in the background, yeah, okay, it's lower on the dollar pairs, yeah. And we could get there. I'm going to leave my last third of my position. What is it? What is it, 25%? My brain doesn't work. I can trade, but I can't think right now. I'm going to leave the last piece on for now. Buyers might want lower prices again. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this is actually testing new low ground. That's going to tell us about buyers here. I feel like this pair always trends up the first few hours of London session. Not today. Okay, we got some buy activity, right? Just below. Just below, right? That's what we're looking at for these things, just below. And there. Below that. So some decent buy activity there. So let's see if it pops up off of that. Maybe shows an imbalance to the upside where you get buying and lack of selling. Somebody was asking about that. Now would be a good time. Thank you, Troy. Yes, everyone hit the like button for winning trade with no drawdown. 15 minutes into the session. If I can't get a like for that, I don't know. I give up. Yesterday was a good start, too. It's nice to catch him early. Get the pressure off. If you're not making money, you're not watching me. Yeah, that is factual. So somebody asked a question. Now would be the time to answer. Let's see who asked, and let me make sure he's still here. Was it Wixie? Or no. It was Apan. Sorry, I'm just gonna butcher people's names. My bad. Apan, are you here? I know you had urgent questions when we started the session. Are you still here? The question was how to understand buying test and selling test. Very good question. Can you please give a little bit explanation, sir? Can you please answer my question? So how to trade when strength and weakness close together? Oh, well, that's a different question. Well, actually, I answered that. But whoever asked that question, those questions, if you're here, no, it wasn't you, Wixie. Sorry, it was see up at the top of the chat. It was Apan time. So if you're here, let me know. I like that question. We should talk about that. Troy, yeah, you asked a question in the Discord. Sure, let me check in on that so you don't have to type it again. Is there anything else brewing right now? That if the yen pairs go low enough, maybe we see strength and buy. All right, we got a few minutes. So. About comparing volume in low areas? Okay. Time to make the coffee. Yeah, okay, Troy, I'm gonna go check. Maybe we can milk this a little more, right? Let's see the Discord and the question you had. Do you ever compare a cluster of volumes in an area of structure to see if that structure will be broken? Well, if you're talking about a cluster of volume, it still comes down to getting in there and seeing what do we define it as, strength, weakness, or mixed. So you got to define it. And maybe you're saying mixed, but your question goes on. In the above example, we see that on the first attempt for price to go higher and ultimately fail there was more volume than the second attempt. So can we do a comparison like that to come to a conclusion of price pushing higher or breaking structure? I don't know if I get exactly the question. Let me see the chart. So the high volume off the high price, right? I see you pointed that out. The high volume in the lower area, effort versus results, says that's strength. Also, I don't know if that's a 1 hour chart. Yeah, so you'd want to look at the 5 minute to confirm, which I always do. Also, you're looking at the euro versus the Swiss franc, which I will never trade because I like US dollar and yen driven moves, as I say and say and say. But you're not asking about it. It's the principle. But the behavior here might be a little, once you take out the dollar and the yen, you might get messy stuff. Not sure the question. Not sure. Pound Swiss. Let me guess, you sold. I haven't looked at the chart yet, but I mean that's been the move of the day. Is the second hour in London? The pound says I'm going down, based on the London hour entry and the lack of demand on the pound. So you sold? It's basically the same trade. See, that's a pound-driven move, so it probably moved down against everything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. See, what's driving the market is important to me. This trade, the London hour trade, is based on the pound. And typically it'll set up pound dollar, pound yen, pound anything, and whatever looks better. But I stick to the pound dollar, pound yen. Right? What's driving the moves? Okay, you already know that. The principle. Okay. You're saying on the first attempt to move up, there was more volume than the second attempt. So you saw weakness, and then it tried to move up, and there was less volume, but also weakness. If I understand that correctly. So can we do a comparison like that to come to a conclusion of price pushing higher or breaking structure? I'm not sure I know exactly how to answer that. If higher prices are showing high volume rejection, I'm taking that as weakness. I'm confirming that that's what the case is on a smaller time frame, and I would be looking to sell in that area if volume doesn't show up and say, again, just go to facts. If volume doesn't show up at high prices where they sold before, and they're not selling again, that's information. But it doesn't take away the fact that they did sell, and maybe they're still in those shorts if you haven't seen the volume of them getting out. So you're tracking them. So it's not a perfect world where, okay, there's weakness on an up move, it's bearish. Then we go higher, and there's weakness on an up move again, or we go back to that level, right? And there's weakness again, but not as high. Okay, it's not a perfect world where it has to be high every time. It has to be very high every time. But if you're saying where is smart money positioned from and what direction, okay, in that example, unless you've seen high volume strength or any high volume leading to up moves as a result, yeah, okay, then they're still short. What you would want to see is continuous high, the higher the better. Does that answer the question? I don't know. Too much work. You can ask again, though, if I didn't quite nail it. I'm hanging on to this short still. Nice. About 30 pips we're up now from that entry. No drawdown. Hit the like for that. Come on. What do you want? Blood? All right, what else? Stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle. Oh, this guy. It can't even do a fake breakout pattern. Right? On these types of setups, I mean, this could have been a fib retracement, never mind that it's a range. The point is we're talking about a support and a potential buy. This is saying factually that the buying did come in the expected area, right? But the longer you stay below the support, 5, 10, 15, going on 20 minutes down here, right, the less chance of it moving up. Less chance of that. So if we came down, saw this volume, and immediately closed back, right, closing back, not rejecting, into this area, that's the cleanest. Out, back in. You certainly see that sometimes. But you notice what's happening, right? Factual information. Whoever bought here is disappearing. Where are they? It's all about price areas. Where are they, right? It doesn't take away the fact that there was some buying, but it's not really confirming as strength, so to speak, if we're going to hang out down here. And it's, this is bearish as far as a break. Testing this level and rejecting and coming back down, not being able to get back. That's a bearish pattern mixed with some bullish volume. It's, but factually, yeah, there was some buying and it disappeared. It didn't really reject and create a fake breakout bullish pattern. So, I pointed this out initially in the analysis, and it started off okay, but here we are, kind of, buyers aren't that excited. This one really shows it as you come down and you don't get rejected. You don't see the volume. So not as good probability on the long. Now that could clean up by, okay, it starts to come down, and then the high volume comes in and creates that, But right now, that's not what you want to see for a good high probability fake break trade, right? You want to get back into that range as soon as possible. And sitting down there on low volume is not showing overwhelming demand in that price area. So, buyers show it. It's kind of 50-50, right? Buyers did show up, but they're not that excited. So it's not a great entry if it sets up. We'll see how it behaves. Boo. No trade can be a good trade if that's what you're booing. Sometimes doing nothing is the thing to do. It's all about probability. Boo that. If you don't mind, can you share initial journey of trading Forex? I know it's horrible because this happens to everyone at the start. What's horrible? Oh, the way you start is horrible because you just lose money. Yeah. I have explained this a bunch of times, so I won't drag it out. In 2003, I saw an infomercial. Remember infomercials on TV? Open a Forex account, start trading. So I did that. I burned it. $350, gone. Funded it again, $350, gone. Uh, the funny part of the story is I gave up, but I left a trade running on a demo. And a couple of weeks later, I opened up that demo and I saw like $3,000 profit on some random trade I took on a demo. And I'm like, maybe I should start looking at this again. And then, so again, that was 2003, 2004. Again, long story short, it was rough. It was crap. Trading on and off, but, trying to stick to it, trying to figure it out. And then around 2005, 2006, definitely by 2006, all these things started popping up as far as help online. There was nothing in 2003. There were no trading rooms. There was nothing. I did a Yahoo search because that's what you used back then. I couldn't find anything, any help. I was getting some report from my broker in an email every day or something, and I was trading off of that. So stupid. Long story short. So then 2007-ish, the Wyckoff, the VSA, okay, let me get rid of these stupid indicators, right? Let me learn what's actually going on in the market. And that became exciting. Like, what the heck's really going on? This is cool. And I'll never forget, which a lot of people remember, that first time you hear, strength appears in down moves. You could tell if big money is buying if price is moving down. It doesn't make any sense. But there it is. That was a great drop there. 5, 10, 15 minutes, bam, 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 right all the way down. And then suddenly, look at that. The volume comes in and it goes sideways. So we found some buying. And then you say, okay, that makes sense. Supply, demand. You put something on sale, lower prices attract buyers. Not immediately, but somewhere down there. There you go. There's the short version. I mean, I had a regular job and I was getting up at 3 a.m. and then going to work, Spent all weekend on the charts. It wasn't some quick thing by any means. But now, like, you guys have better information than I did back then. Trying to figure this stuff out, Carbon. Where did I learn VSA? Yeah, nothing special. The Trade Guider channel on YouTube, if you look at Trade Guider. And for me, and the book that kind of goes with it, the VSA Bible, so to speak, Master the Markets, which you could, I'm sure, find for free online, PDF, Master the Markets, Trade Guider on YouTube. But I don't trade. Every time this comes up, I have to make the disclaimer, right? I didn't take that VSA and say, okay, now I know how to trade. I just got to learn what they're teaching, and I'm good. That didn't happen for me. Maybe for some people, I don't know. I still had gray areas. I wasn't sure about certain things. High volume on an up move means smart money is involved in buying. That is a bullish sign. Okay, and then later on you're reading high volume in an up move means selling. Smart money is selling it. Okay, well, what? It hurts my brain, so I had to figure it out. But that's what got me on track was the Trade Guider, Tom Williams, Trade Guider, Master of the Markets, the Wyckoff stuff. And if you notice, what I do is just taking the main core of what those two are, right? I'm not, again, if you look at the Wyckoff accumulation phase, right, you get so many labels and breaking the ice and, right, this, that, and the other, and these particular patterns that have to be. I said, no, volume at low prices shows me smart money's buying. Okay, we're in accumulation. I have my accumulation rate, automatic rally. All right, I got that from Wyckoff. So I took this stuff that really was clear and made sense and just spent so long on the charts to figure it out. Like solving the mystery of the universe here, So that's my story. Yeah, I don't know Gavin personally. I've never talked to him. I have no judgment on, like, is he really making a lot of money or not? I don't know. I absolutely have no idea. Can't confirm it. But one thing I can tell you is what I heard that guy say in 2007, 2008 put me on the right track. Sticking to only what they were teaching was not good enough, though. But I knew there was something of value. So I kept going from there, you know. I didn't set out to try to change it. But I knew, okay, I at least have a piece of it here. Let me figure it out, you know. And the last thing I'll add, because again, I don't want to dwell on this because I've talked about it a million times, and that's basically the story. But the last thing to add is understanding really supply and demand, what that means in the real world. In the real world. And then applying that to a chart. When there's lack of supply of a product, the price goes up, right? The difference is, and if you're learning about supply demand in the real world, and that's why prices fluctuate, right? You're going to get inflation. You're going to get higher prices if there's a supply problem, if supply is not coming in, right? So you know it's the same thing. But what was I going to say? Oh, the difference is in trading. When you take a trade, you're forcing it, right? You're making this exchange happen now. So if you're buying at a particular price, and you're buying more than anyone is willing to sell at that price, I want to buy whatever. I'll just use a number. I want to buy 10, but there's 8 available, and I'm clicking that buy button at this price, and I'm buying 10. And there's only 8 available, right? It's going to move up in order to get me those other 2. The market's going to move up. So it's not like in the real world where, you know, you're selling your house or whatever. You wait for a willing buyer. You wait for a willing seller. You're pushing. You're forcing it, so to speak. So you can get wild moves, right? I'm buying a ton of this, whatever, crypto. I'm going to go buy a ton of this particular crypto coin. It's gonna move to where all that is available for sale. I'm gonna move the market with that. So you take supply demand, right? You add that element. You start to understand what the heck's going on. Right now, I'm just sitting in the last piece of the pound dollar short. Closed most of it. Stop at break even. I don't even care if I take another trade today. I'm just hanging. We'll see what sets up. This guy, as I said, no good. Not confirming. I will delete that so there's no misunderstanding. And yeah, if things are moving down, maybe that low buy on the yen pairs will happen today that we were looking for yesterday. Maybe that'll be the next trade. Let me get caught up on the chat. Sorry, I just started talking and talking. I can speak. Oh, let me leave this chart up so I can watch it. Make more money. Okay, good. I watch a few of his videos. He's all over the place. Again, you have to understand that Gavin is not the source of this stuff. He learned from a guy named Tom Williams, who passed away. So just so you understand, like he's conveying information that he learned. And the way Tom Williams describes the market, right? He's just the guy that explained it well or somewhat, and became famous for it. You know what I mean? It's just talking about what's going on in the market. Whoever can explain it best. I don't know. If I dare say to a VSA trader that no offense to Mr. Tom Williams, I thank him, that I like my way better. Oh my God. He wasn't the god of the volume indicator. You know what I'm saying? But he let us know what's kind of going on in the market. You know, a lot of that stuff is obviously true. So Gavin's not the one that invented or anything. Gavin says, I learned from Tom Williams, you know. So if you don't find him to be the best teacher, I'm not saying me, but if you don't find him to be the best teacher, yeah, he's, just so you know, just so you guys are clear. You can't isolate one candle bar and see up move on ultra high volume is always buying. A lot of people seem to forget that. He takes so long to get to the point. I find it very painful. You take everything for what it is. And maybe you find me to be painful sometimes, but there's good information, right? Gregory, I don't know. Gregory, I don't think. Sounds familiar. The lady might be his wife. I asked a few questions. She never knew the answer. Okay. Hidden up thrust short yesterday was technically vehicle. Was it hidden like under a rock, or was it just plain to see on the chart? I make jokes about the name. Reverse up thrust leading to climactic action. Depends. It could be illegal. You need consent. Hey, Pete, did you do any fundamental analysis? Absolutely not. I track the positions in the market based on what the chart says the money is doing. And you can get a situation where everything looks great on the news, but they're already bought. They bought the day before, and they're getting out while everyone chases the move, and they sell off to those people. Fundamentals are a step behind what the chart can tell you. My opinion. It's kind of factual, but yeah, my opinion. No, someone worked for Tom Williams. Yeah, and it comes the Wyckoff stuff. I was actually noticing those patterns before I discovered Wyckoff, and I'm like, okay, this guy actually has names for these things and an explanation. Okay, A lot of VSA traders just haven't put in the time to learn them all, honestly. Okay. Yeah, whatever works. I didn't. Me either. Pete's got that smooth, soothing picks to false. Climactic action. Stop married. Oh my god. I don't give consent for the reverse up thrust. It's not a good day. Everyone has different name. Principles remain. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. And I was saying this yesterday. Traders are getting smarter. There's better things out there than moving average, crossover systems, and MACD. Okay, yes, it's getting smarter. And they're getting to that point where anyone who knows what's going on knows what's going on. They may use different terms, right? Principles remain the same. The chart is the truth. That's it. Reverse. Oh, hey, look at that. More money, guys. Oh, it's hard work. You see the buying there too, right? You see the buying there too. So let's see. I'll do what these VSA traders love to do. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is that a VSA for you? Is that a hidden reversed sideways down thrust? You see what's going on there, though? Get rid of these stupid things. Buying, right? Lower prices tell you about buyers. Nothing. Buyers again. If we get a bullish pattern, fake break, which looks like the case, I'll just close the trade. At 35 pips or 40 or whatever we're at right now. I had a 25 pip stop, wasn't it? Something like that. It's at break even now. So if this confirms a fake break, we were just talking about fake breaks, right? This guy did not close back into range, and I was not considering the long entry. And we're not seeing consistent, sustained, continuous buying down here. So that is a long entry that we forecasted could set up, and we see that it's not. This is the opposite, where buying is consistent. And then we'll see if we do the fake break, right? And then I would just get out. You know, when it comes to managing trades, why not read the chart the same way you read it to get in, instead of just hoping or setting some target and walking away? Sometimes that can work if you have no discipline to let your trade run. But we're already past the 1-to-1 risk reward. We're all good. And if I see this volume confirming with a fake break bullish pattern, I will just close the trade, just like that. In fact, I could move my stop down to like 78. Just in case it starts flying up, because there is some demand coming in. So carbon stop loss, stop loss is where you're setting you set a price level to automatically close the trade. And you see the 1878, 78. That's the number we're concerned with in this pair. If the price pops up there, I think he went to make the coffee. Then I'll be getting out. 1878. 1878. That's plus 30 pips off of this entry. I went in and then I went in again because I didn't want to miss it. Then I had too small of an order. So I hit sell and then I went in and hit sell again. So I don't know which entry this was. Anyway, stop loss is now locked in 29.7 pips. 1878. You see that? Okay, yeah. You know, sometimes you close it manually. You just close it yourself. But there's a... Sometimes it's good when you're in profit this much because we sold here, so we're up a good amount to start moving that exit level on your broker, on your in this case I'm doing it on my phone, on your app, to set it here. So if because we see some buying, right? You get that. That's your lesson for today. It's a very important one. And now we have just barely starting to confirm, like we're coming back above a level, sort of, almost. And then once you see that and then that, you're likely to move up. So then it's good just to get out. Because now we're losing probability that we're just going to drop. But if we do this and then just come down, then good, I'll stay in it and make more, right? But if it does that, then I'll just get out. Again, comparing that to this, where the volume at the low prices started to taper off. It says don't buy. It's going to continue down. This is showing some buying that might end this for now. Back to the chat. What's happening? Okay, you guys are talking to each other, so I'm just skipping through it. I'm just chilling out right now. This was a potential long entry that the chart said, no, don't do it. Good stuff there. This guy, yeah, I'm ready to close it here. Yeah, I'm out. Closed. Closing it. I'm out of the GU short completely now. I have exited my pound trade completely. That was whatever that was, 35 pips or so there. Out. Done. 35 pips, no drawdown. London hour trade, right? Check the video on that I made. The London hour trade mixed with what I already do. Combining that. Yes. Nice trade. Can I go to bed? No, I'm up for a little while. I'm tired, but if I sleep now, I'll just wake up in an hour and then I won't be able to sleep ever. Let's see. Nitin, welcome. New to your channel. Is there something I can read about your setup and strategy to be more prepared for your great sessions? Thank you. Good to have you. Exactly, Carbon. Thanks. Of course, obviously, the YouTube videos are plentiful. There's endless hours, and that's free. There's live streams, which are obviously, I understand, are very long. And then you have some videos that do show particular lessons. So everything I do is actually free on YouTube. But then I have a couple of courses, and they're just, everything top to bottom in an organized way. But it's the same material. Cool. How long did you get up and trade at 3 a.m. while you're working your job? Until I got fired. I don't know, like a year. Because I also do music production, so I haven't always had in the past jobs, depending on the situation. That was when I first got married. So yeah, that wasn't gonna cut it. I got myself a job, and so I did that for a while. Yeah, I was doing food catering delivery. So like, how the drug companies will buy $400 lunches. Well, that was back in the day. $800 lunches for the whole office. They don't want anything in return, But anyway, it would be a nice lavish setup. I had to do all by myself. Apparently, I wasn't very good at it. I kept messing up. And then I got fired, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I need to be fired. Shook the guy's hand. I said, absolutely. See ya. I don't think I ever picked up my last check. I'm like, oh, let me just get out of here. I feel bad for messing up. I have a terrible singing voice. No. I'm good at trading and music production. I suck at everything else. There you go. I'm a decent driver. Right? I don't know. I can cook some things. If you want to hear a rap, Pete's got a dude in this building who makes a killer. A rap? What? Only one note. Oh, no. Carbon, I haven't heard this in a while. Dong, 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 dong. So I don't know. He's not getting any. When you hear the dong, 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 dong from the dude downstairs, don't come knocking. It's always, it's always that song. All right, we're getting off topic here. Oh, stop. Pound? Oh, yeah, I said it. You may have missed it. I did close it. Yeah, I did close it. I closed it like here. Yes, I did close it manually. I didn't even wait for that stop to get hit. But yeah, we saw that coming. Yeah, again, it's very simple that, right, the fake breaks off of strength is the bullish pattern. So, we lost some probability on this trade continuing at this point, and then we lost a lot more probability at this point. So there's the exit. Nice. What else is happening? So remember this range and dealing with these ranges, right, on the dollar pairs and the potential buy low, sell high, right? And what were some of the other options? What if it breaks out and there's not demand coming in? We're finally out of the frickin' range. It's only been this period, but it's just so terrible. As far as probabilities, right? But if we finally get out of the range here, now that's just the Australian dollar. That is not U.S. driven, and the U.S. is what made this mess. So this actually does not clean up the mess, right? You get what I'm saying? Let's go to the dollar index. Nope, that's chopped. That's not going anywhere. The cause of the move, right? Important to know. The dollar created this mess when on Tuesday you had supply and demand close together, creating a balance in the force. Stuck in the middle, supply and demand, balance. Euro dollar reflecting that because the euro is not doing anything on its own, right? Pound dollar reflecting that. What is it doing on its own? It had a down move today. That's nice. Still there, though. Right? So this one, we're moving out. We must be breaking out. Well, the Australian dollar is weak. But the thing that created this mess has not been cleaned up, right? Good understanding of what this is. Now, if you're looking at the Australian dollar versus the U.S. dollar, Australian dollar versus the yen, right? Again, at a potential buy area. Is it happening? No. All right, we're losing the activity down here. We're not seeing overwhelming demand. Again, it's a wishy-washy situation. There's some buying, but then it disappeared, right? And now we're just chop, chop, chop. We're not going back up. We're not breaking out. We're sitting here, and the buyers don't seem very excited. So I really wouldn't go long off of this situation at all. A little test of supply activity. No good, no good. So that's right, honing in on the Australian dollar because that's at least moving now. And what is it telling us? If the Australian dollar keeps moving down, right, and not showing volume into lower prices, okay, it's weak. You could look to short it. But I like US dollar and yen driven moves. They're more reliable. They last longer. It's what creates the background. The Australian dollar, sorry, Australians, you're great, is not in control of itself most of the time. It's at the whim of what the US dollar is doing. It's at the whim of what the yen is doing. So that could be very short-lived. The amount of money trading the US dollar compared to right, it's like the world reserve currency. It's very much a driver of things. This can drive itself for a little while and, whatever. It doesn't create a whole storyline very well, though. So it's not my favorite thing to do. Pound stops out, yeah. Okay, yeah, so I have no trade on at the moment. We'll just bam, in and out, grab a nice trade. Now I'm just observing, nothing else setting up so far. I also watched some videos on social media related to customer audit. Amazing research it is. I'm just jumping into this conversation. I'm not sure. Research. I don't know. I'm lost. Too smart for my own good. Nah. I messed up that catering job pretty bad. I'm good at getting fired. So we saw buying coming in here and here, right? We knew to get out of the short trade here. And now we're testing for selling. That is one of the main purposes of this line, right? Higher prices tell you about sellers. What is high enough to find out? That So typically you'll get an up move that stops. And if the volume's high and rejects, okay, it's coming down. Most likely you found sell activity. If the volume's low, we'll see what happens. It's kind of average low. Then you're likely to move up. Because now you have the imbalance. Active demand, active buyers, lack of sellers. You also have the high point in between the two bottoms. Hey, those that are watching the course, I just remember what I used to call this. The unfinished U. That's what I call it in the course. You see how it's a U-shaped volume, but it's like unfinished? Yeah, that's what I used to call it. So that's the unfinished U referring to in the course. And then the test. But we also have the automatic rally, which comes from Wyckoff. And yes, it does work on a 5-minute. It's fractal, doesn't matter the time frame. And so breaking above here and this now, we have them close together. And without supply, right, means there's definitely the imbalance playing out where you have more buying than selling, and we're moving up out of that area. So this tells us about sellers, right? Low volume, we're likely to go up. Am I looking to buy the pound dollar right now? I'm just pointing that out. No. I hate the US dollar pairs still. They're just terrible. The London hour trade was its own thing. And some regular analysis, but no. Well, that's predictable. See the buying here? Oh, well. Smart money, not so smart. Hit the like button. Thank you. How was it talking to friends and partners saying you're going to become a trader and you've learned to track the smart money without looking and saying, trying to think back when I was going to become, most people just didn't know what the hell I'm talking about. You know how it is. I mean, once you really start talking about it, they just get this look. They're very confused. What do you, huh? Sounds good. I don't know. How to differentiate between the smart money taking profit on the level or buying or selling on that particular level? Good question. Hope so you understand my questions. Yes. Well, there's a storyline playing out. Right? This is a two-part answer. There's a storyline playing out. You know, the look, yes, the look. So first part of that answer is, well, okay, you're not starting from nowhere. You're somewhere. They're positioned from somewhere, right? And you know they're in those positions until volume tells you they're getting out. So now if okay, that's the first part of the answer. Second thing is that's why you can test multiple levels. Sorry, I'm tired. That's why you can test a level multiple times. Here's a perfect example. Right? If they were looking to buy, this shouldn't have happened on low volume. So I'm just taking the current example out of context right now, but just to show you a pattern of behavior. So let's say you got weakness here, right? It comes down, and this area we already know could be an area to take profit, right? Support, fake break. You might want to think about getting out, right? If whatever the background is, if you sold, right? Now, does it tell me that profit taking, which certainly was involved here, is continuing. Are we seeing strength saying, yes, now they're building up positions, not just getting out. They're building up positions. Obviously, it's selling and they're not, right? We knew that here, right? So building up positions, accumulation, gets really confirmed when you see it more than once in a price area. And if you don't see it, right, it's temporary. That means they're not looking to build up and get into long positions here. So it was a good start maybe to buy, and then it said, no, don't buy. They're not really building up positions. But also, there's a mix of both all the time. Because you're just playing the supply-demand balance, right? If I'm getting long and sellers start coming in in fresh positions, not getting out of longs, but I see sellers coming in, this is their first trade of the day, so to speak, let's say, hypothetically, that's good enough to tell me I need to start getting out, right? It works together. And maybe I will go short after that, right? So it works together. But that's one of the key things, right, is to see consistency in a price area to tell you they're actually getting into positions, not just like a profit taking and then, continue. Does that help? But that's the sign of accumulation, distribution. Building up of positions is seeing it consistently, not one time. Yeah. And just following the story, and there's both happening. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good question. NJ for shorts with a retrace back to, not sure what that. Generally on the yen pairs, I'd like to be buying low today. We have strength in the background. We have a lot of long positions a bit lower from where we are. So it might continue to that point. I'm not looking for that trade at the moment. It might continue to that point, and then I'd like to be buying lower. Again, this was a potential opportunity that definitely did not confirm. So we knew not to go long there. So yeah, short term. Let's see the 5-minute on some of the other yens. Some buying occurred here. This is similar to a bit of pound driving that situation, right? But yeah, the background being bullish, I'd like to stay with that. I took my one against the background sort of thing, getting short there, and there was enough reason for me to do so. I'm buying. Chill out for now. See here, let's look at this again. Good example. This is that bottom of that sideways range, right? Where we couldn't define it as accumulation distribution. We're just going to find out what may happen from here. Again, the buying disappeared, right? We started to move down. Now we got some buying again. So lower prices are attracting demand. I wouldn't want to short scalp after seeing this now, right? Would not want to short scalp after seeing that. Not such a good quality scalp. But whoever bought here and whoever's buying here, I don't know, good luck to them. It's the Australian dollar driving itself. Not exactly my cup of tea. I don't drink tea anyway. I drink coffee like a man. I'm just kidding. Tea is great. Painted myself into a corner. But yeah, chilling for the moment. I don't see any immediate opportunities. So that's the second time this week I use the London hour trade. I have a video all about it, combined with the rest of my analysis to get a nice entry. Cool. Work it in. I never thought I'd be adding anything new at this point, but there it is. And I see some buying again on the pound dollar. Is that a U.S. driven situation? To some extent, yes. Yeah. So as prices are moving down against the U.S. dollar, right, there is some demand coming in. But there is no imbalance proven entry going on here, right? Remember I said at the point, right? Right here, what was I saying? It's going to stop here and test for sellers. It's going to tell you about sellers. So the buyers, they're not buying here, right? Right now they're bought here, they bought here. This is where they stop and let sellers do whatever they're going to do. Is there high activity on that selling? Nope. And they're just going to buy some more, right? So we really have the imbalance starting to build up here to the upside. All making sense? All right, I am burnt. Thursday is my Friday. Yay, it's the weekend. I had an extremely productive week. And thank you all for attending. I'm still going to hang out, though. How many trades per day? Scalps, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 per day, right? Yesterday, I think 3, or was it 4? It's a blur. At least 3. I think it was 3. No, wait. Anyway. And then on the so-called VSA Wyckoff technical analysis, that setup, that's 1 a day, really, I'm looking for. I mean, if it doesn't set up, that's fine. But that's pretty much looking for 1 a day, maybe 2. Because, if you get something early enough and then, by the time you get to U.S. session, you get something else. But yeah, a few trades a day with the scalp entry is certainly the average. And then that 1 trade a day for the, larger move, usually around New York session kind of thing. Troy, sure. How many the chart sets up to get? However many. Yeah, but on average, 3 of these types of trades that you saw now. Again, they're not all 35 pips. A lot of them are scalps. And then that 1, based on the 1 hour background, all that. Let's do Sunday. You're going to make me work on Sunday. Chill session to see what might be setting up for the week. That would be fun. Okay, you guys do it. I remember when I used to think that way. Nothing against it. That's great. Do that, yes. Oh, gosh. I can't commit. Oh, look at that. It's still going. Buyers again, most likely. We'll see. No, I used to really spend all the time possible. The weekends were boring, waiting for the market to open. At this point, I've been looking at charts like 19 years, man. Mr. 010, any trades? At the moment, I'm not. No, that's cool that you're enjoying it. No, I appreciate that. But you know where I'm coming from, I also just like, not planning things as much as possible so I can do whatever I want. But I'm pretty much here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This Tuesday I was working on a recording session. Any trades? The one trade we took today was this guy right here. Where was my entry? Somewhere in here. And I got out in this area. So that's all for today that I have taken so far. We were looking at potentially buying here, and the chart said don't do it. Nothing brewing at the moment. Besides that, it would be nice to drop on the yen pairs and look for a buy lower later today based on the strength in the background, some of those levels. We'll look at that before I go. But yeah, that's the one so far today. What has changed over your years of trading? What has changed in the markets? How are the markets different? Is that what you're asking? My strategy, how it works. I have not changed my strategy in a long time, like 12 years. As far as my main trading method, no. Maybe things get a little, I won't even say improved. No, it's the same. But you get better with experience. That's the thing. You get better with experience. You learn some nuances. But as far as my main method of trading has not changed. How it works in the market, again, it's based on taking facts off of the chart and getting probabilities off of factual information. So it's not a strategy that, if you're talking about indicators or EAs or something like that, that you're going to get something that works for a while and then doesn't work, right? This is like, how do we read a chart and know what the heck's going on? And then taking that information and saying, okay, when do we get a good probability of a move and take a trade? So that applies to any market and never changes. You could apply it to the housing market. You could apply it to anything. It's based on supply and demand, right? So that's never going to change. You see this buying into these down moves on the pound. So there may be a long setup later. You see their positioning. Every time they get a lower price, they buy some, right? See the activity. Governed wouldn't be the word. The question is, do you think euro overall is governed by the thing is it's driven. I like the word driven. I would say 80% of the time, give or take, the US dollar and the yen are driving everything else. And everything else can have their move for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, but the storyline of the Forex market, 80% of the time, and which is what I prefer and is cleaner, is driven by the US dollar and the yen. So the euro could have a strong day or a weak day, but chances are whatever the dollar does is going to decide where it goes. So, I'm sure, Troy, you have noticed these things. And that's why you have correlation. There kind of has to be a really big deal going on with the euro or the pound or whatever, whether it's Brexit or the euro had some serious debt problems like in 2012, right? 2010. Remember all that? So you have periods where the euro is driving itself or you have the pound driving, But again, it's somewhere around 80% of the time. It's just going to. Why the yen? Why the yen? That's a good question. I don't know. What the charts tell me is the yen behaves like a reserve currency. The yen behaves like it's this dominant currency in the world. I don't know. Maybe it is, but it can push other currencies around all day. You know, you look at the yen index, and it's going to be the opposite. You know what I mean? Of the yen pair, it's going to be pushing all the yen pairs around for the majority of the day. You would think maybe it's the pound, or maybe right, the euro's a bunch of countries put together, right? But it gets pushed around by the yen, right? Most of the time. Why? That's a good question. I often say, you know what? In the end, with some things, you're not going to know why, and that's fine as long as you know it. Yeah, curiosity, but I don't know why. Exactly. You get the U.S. dollar. Yeah. Why the yen? I don't know. But you see it, right? Maybe the yen is a funnel for Asia market. Asia countries rule the world. The yen is, according to charts, the yen is the most influential and traded and, yeah, influential in the world. I don't know why. Next to the U.S. dollar. Just facts on the chart, right? It's more stable or more known international than Taipei. Yeah. Maybe somebody finds out one day and tells me. But a lot of times I say, who knows why. In trading, you don't have to know why, as long as you know what it is. You want to know who, where, what, direction, why? It's an afterthought, right? A good question, though. Yeah, so as I said, we're likely going to see buyers again. So they're buying into these down moves. They're accumulating here on these down moves. Is it happening on all of these pairs? Yeah, buying, right? Every time we get to a new low price, not here, and that's why we didn't want to go long. New low price buying, low volume. New low price buying, right? If we sit up here, we'll probably get lower volume again. So this is suggesting an up move for U.S. session as they're buying into this down move now. And maybe the U.S. dollar is not going to be this stuck sideways range thing, and maybe we get out of it today. This is what the charts are suggesting today is coming up. Of course, we have to see if it sets up, see if it gets there. And that equates to, right, that's the dollar index. That equates to buying off of low prices. So it's nice to see buying on the way down like we are, and then get the big bang in volume and rejection, and then lack of supply. And then you run through that whole area that they bought, right, pretty quickly, typically. So that might be brewing, right? If those signs of strength were not showing up in these down moves, I would say, all right, market figured itself out. We're bearish. Let's find our way in. But absolutely not, right? Has it always been the case? Yeah, as long as I can remember, yeah. But about the dollar and the yen, yeah. Do I trade gold? I swing trade everything else. I don't do day trading. So as gold comes down and shows strength in accumulation, I buy, I sell on the up move. You know, I do the same with silver, oil, right? This and that. So I just do long term. I could be in a position for 6 months without touching it, or whatever the market does. So that's all swing trading and everything else. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, what is news today? Tentative. So just at any point, huh? Well, whenever this hits, you'll probably get strength. You'll probably move up. People looking like they're buying the pound, but we'll see. I don't know what time that's going to be. And of course, this 8:30 New York time. As most of you know, we don't trade off of news results. We trade whatever the chart says. If you traded fundamentals, you'd probably be having a really bad last 6 weeks. Right? Let's look at the Dow. Oh, I thought we were going to crash this fall. I thought the market was crashing. The news talks about how terrible the market's doing. Whoa. Inflation, whatever the heck. Recession. It's got everybody out. Look. Fundamentals. Man, Bloomberg. Listen to Bloomberg just to do the opposite. Oh man, doom and gloom they were talking about for October, November. We're almost done with November. Doom and gloom was all you would hear. After a while, you start to know, oh, it's the opposite of whatever they're saying. You know Jim Cramer? Yeah, that everywhere. They caught him again, Jim Cramer, saying this Sam, what's his face, idiot front man, was the next, what did he call him? The next Warren Buffett. I think, right? God. Anyway. Nope. Didn't happen, Carbon. Nope. It's a very strange. As far as in the future, it still may happen. But typically October, November is when you get these crashes. So no, it hasn't happened. Also, I don't know the story behind it. I'm a chart reader, but I know that money is pumped in to keep these markets afloat, especially before elections. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. That's another example of all the fundamentalists in September, right? We're saying get ready for this bear market in the fall. Get ready for it. And it never happened. Nope. Yeah, tentative news. Like, come on, give us a time. But we did have a temporary scare. What was that, late August? We had a temporary scare, but then got bought up and the market did not crash. So many fundamentalists were wrong. Again. What was it? Oh, here. It was yeah. It was that. And some crazy stuff did go on with the currencies too. With the US dollar becoming so strong because everybody was getting out of things and it created a demand for US dollar. You want to cash out and go to something safe, even though it's not the safest with inflation. You're losing value, but safe haven US dollar, and it was destroying everything else relative to it. And then things just kind of straightened themselves out. Maybe it was all the FTX profits pumped into the market to prop it up to win the election. Okay, we'll stop talking now. All right. What else? Yes, running again. He is running again. No. No, I don't. I used to watch basketball, but mm, everything is a show now. Everything's fake. Sucks. You know what I'm saying? The NBA got all political. At this point, China probably owns the NBA anyway. You know what I'm saying? Maybe do read increase of the volume at the tops or bottoms, but right in the middle of range. How do you read? How do I read it in the middle of a range? How would I read volume in the middle of a range? Well, if you're generally talking about, we certainly have a range here. Smart money, the big money, buying low, selling high. Those are the key points. Wait, the less you have that, or the more you get away from that stuff, the less is going to go on. That's really going to be predictive and good. So in this extreme case that we have right now, that we've been dealing with, of buying low, selling high, is all to the left. It's not one and the other's inactive. They're both active. This middle stuff is not going to help, and it's very hard. And here we spend like 20 hours stuck in the middle. Yesterday I talked about getting stuck in the middle. In this particular case, it's a good example of, if that's exactly your question, I'm not sure. That's a good example of really not wanting to mess around with this. It's the low prices and the buying that may come in, or the high prices and the selling. To really simplify what I'm saying. I mean, you could get, for example, if you wanted to read what's going on here, it's like, I don't want to take a trade here, but you have obvious supports, for example, where if you're breaking below this support, you can see if demand is coming in, you finally get lower prices that you haven't seen in a while. And do buyers come in or not, right? And you can look at the volume showing strength or not. You can look at a fake break pattern or not, right? In this case, it broke it, and you can see that the buy activity became very low down here. This is all you get. That's pretty bad. At such a key level. And then being able to break out, that's high volume, but it did not lead to a fake break pattern. We actually moved down, and as a result, moved down as a result on regular volume. So that's bearish going forward because of that, right? This, in this case, might create that. So whatever you're looking at, it's the lower and higher prices telling you. And if it's a little, if it's the middle of the range, but you have a clear level, then okay, that'll tell you something. But it still is always going to come down to moving up or moving down. Maybe even just a small time frame if you're not really at any major high or low point. For example, yesterday on gold, most of the activity took place in the middle of the range. Well, here's another thing you could do is, and I apply this certainly, if you're not sure what volume is telling you, it's an area that's surprising that it even has high volume. What's going on here? It's not really a level that I was looking for sell or buy activity. It's just suddenly volume increases and it's messy and it's in a weird spot. Look at the result. The old effort versus result. So you could have news and it's choppy and it's all over the place and it happened in a price area that wasn't the greatest to really give you much information, right? look at where price finally ends up going after that as a result. And on a 5-minute chart, that could take 15, 20 minutes. On an hourly chart, it could take, 4 hours, right? Same principle. And that would be your background. So if you're unsure, look at the result. And you're going to get another piece of information off of that. You know what I'm saying? So if you have that high volume and it's confusing, you're not sure what it means, it's in a weird place, and then as a result, price moves up, right? It's got to go somewhere eventually. And in those higher prices, selling is not coming in. You're not seeing any high activity coming into that up move now. Now you define it as strength. Now you have an imbalance, more buying than selling, right? More demand than supply. Yeah. And that's a good one that I haven't mentioned for a while because it just hasn't come up on the chart. Good question. Thanks. Yeah, that we talk about all these patterns and all these things we look for, and what happens when it's just high volume and I don't know what it means. There's the answer. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that at the moment everybody knows what's going on, right? Like we need to get past this and get a result. It doesn't mean, smart money is not all sitting together conspiring and doing the same thing. They just know how to trade, right? They trade the same way. They think the same way. And they take the money from everybody else. But they're not always on the same page. And when it gets choppy, sloppy, and you're not sure, yeah, look at the result. Look at the next piece of information. Yeah. That's a good one. So here's a situation where this breakout, right, is accepting lower prices on regular medium volume. So that means it's likely a real breakout. It's likely going to this point. Nothing wrong with looking for a scalp entry. I like when the scalps, which are off the 14 EMA, this type of thing, combined with a break test continuation. So maybe that'll happen. But of course, for the scalp, I need the 14 EMA test. These scalps are pretty simple, though. Let's see, maybe we get something like that going on. We had a couple yesterday. Troy, weakness on the pound. Weakness? They are buying into down moves, though. Well, are you talking about pound dollar or pound yen? Pound yen is a mess, but it's showing strength. Right? You see these here, here, and here. You got strength. Pound dollar. Again, we highlighted the strength. Weakness. Really would have seen it here, here. This guy, not much volume. What makes you say that? I'd like to be buying lower today. It would all be pretty good, high probability stuff. Since we already see them buying on the way down. But that's likely a real breakout. Maybe a break test continuation, 14 EMA test. This we knew at the time was likely a real breakout once we saw that. And failure to get back above the support. Not much demand coming in here. That might come down here for a scalp. See what happens. A lot of times you get this small candle here. Bar, whatever it is you're using. Followed by another push down. Morning star, evening star, right? That's what it's called. And that could just bring it right to the low. But chart says this down move's not over. This is not over. This has seen some buying, so I do not want to sell it. Pound dollar. I don't mind buying the pound dollar later today, U.S. session. Maybe we come down here. We get our maybe news of right volume strength, and look to buy down here. Very possible. There's no doubt about it. I like marking these on the pound today. Some buying coming in. So if the long sets up, for example, today because of weak U.S. dollar, which we have plotted here, perhaps, and causing everything to move up against it, U.S. session, the pound might be the best choice because of this stuff going on. They're likely to correlate, but you see it. This is the one they're attracted to buying right now. Oh, pound Swiss. Well, maybe you have strength on this Swiss franc then. Right? If it's particular to that chart, then maybe weakness on the pound is relative to strength on the Swiss. Does that make sense? Because that's what I tend to say. If you're comparing and then there's one that shows something different, obviously it's the other currency causing that, not the pound. So that's probably the case. Seems like GU going to take out yesterday's low. That would be a great place to have this set up. Yes. Yes, that's what I drew. There's yesterday's low. Absolutely. Starting from here, right? And then all the way down to even the previous day's low, right? You get all the stop losses on long positions. They're all here. It's part of the game. Troy, yes, very good. Cool, we talked about some good stuff today. Somebody I know in real life is actually here. Carbon, are you still here? It's always like two separate worlds, Because it's 3 a.m. Normally my friends are asleep. Right now it's 6 a.m. But I got my late night friends here too. You guys are the crew now. Pre-faders after dark. So stupid. Wait for somebody to tell me, man, you talk too much about things that have nothing to do with trading, man. You stick to the good stuff, man. No, nobody's told me that yet. I think I need to be told that you're really not interested in my life. That's not why you're here. What is this conversation? I'm completely confused now. Troy, you've lost it. Muhammad, PM. Are you guys private messaging? I don't know what's going on. So you're an AI, Troy, this whole time? You fooled me. So, you guys ready for AI? I'm ready to buy low today, particularly the pound. We'll see if that sets up. Pound yen would be great. I didn't mark that. Potentially. It's got to set up right. There, wherever. Yeah, AI, huh? It's going to be good. It's going to be bad. Just like the internet. Right? Good and bad. This right here, this is good. Arguing on Twitter all day, bad. All right? There you go. Is everything cool with the stream? You guys good? I'm seeing error in the chat and it's scaring me. Press Alt Control Delete. What? Troy? What's going on? What are you talking about? No idea what you're talking about. You're not talking to me, huh? I don't know. Control Alt Delete doesn't work on a Mac, does it? That's what I'm using. He fell asleep on the keyboard. Oh, good. Okay. AI is going to do some cool stuff, and it's going to do some absolutely horrible stuff. Yeah. One thing that'll be cool, let's say, for example, right? Well, this isn't even AI, but you need to be able to recognize things in the world. I guess that's part of AI, is knowing what the heck is going on, having an understanding. If you look at a video, you can identify what's going on. Now, like, people always film concerts, right? People go to concerts. Everybody's got their damn phone out, right? So every concert has a ton of footage. So what if you're able to allow access to your phone footage while you're there? Yes, people will do this. They've done worse. Allow access to that video, right? And then by the time you get home from the concert, it's online with multiple camera angles, right? The sound has been improved, right? That's the kind of stuff we're going to get. Cool, right? Sunday chill session. Footprint chart. Yeah, I looked into that. There was this company went out of business. Maybe that tells you something. But there's other ways. There was a market delta. Market delta something rather. Footprint chart. Yeah. I was all into that for a little while, and guess what? I was not getting any new information that I didn't already know. I felt like I was getting an overload of information. This is just me. I mean, you're talking about a chart that's giving you facts are facts on a footprint chart. Yeah, it's just facts. But to me, it was too much information. Don't need all that. Meaning, in the end, I was taking the same trades. You know what I mean? It really didn't make me go, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, okay, let me change what I'm doing because the footprint chart's telling me extra stuff and I needed to know that. It was just like excess information that didn't change anything that I did. But that's just me. You know, that's just, if you're curious what he's saying, footprint chart is telling you like too much data. You agree? There you go. It's telling you the actual, and you can't get it in spot Forex, what we're trading here. You would be able to get it in futures. You need actual real volume traded, not activity volume, tick activity. And you get on your chart, the one way they'll do it is like in the bar itself. So you'll have a bunch of numbers in here that tells you the amount of buying and selling all through here. And at first you go, whoa, that's great information. Oh my gosh, right? It's just too much. Doesn't matter until it does matter. And at that point, I'm doing the same thing I would have done anyway. So yeah, it seems so useful until you do it. And then it's just like it's overload of information. Yeah, too much. Agreed. But yeah, I've pretty much tried everything, and I ended up here with this. Price, time, and volume. Price and volume. Everything else is whatever. What the heck did I draw here? I was looking for a break test continuation, or at least test of the 14 EMA for a potential short. Looks like it just wants to go. That's fine. I'm not going to chase it down into the low, obviously. Again, pound is seeing buying into these moves, so I would not take a short scalp on that. And again, maybe the long entry later on the pound. This guy, oh, I missed my entry. That's all right. That is likely going to the low for a scalp, right? Some of you just got the course, or you're waiting for me to send it to you as soon as the webinar is over, as soon as the stream's over. Very special webinar. There's one for you. I typically like to see, I'm almost kind of a little bit in hindsight, I like to see a bit of more action around here. If you're just kind of dropping, typically there's a certain behavior that you'll come up here, you'll get like a small candle or two or bar, and then you start to come down and you take your time here. This just dropping, there's a certain look to these entries. You'll see it in the course when you see maybe like the scalps I took yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. So, I mean, there's the type of behavior we're talking about where you don't have strength, and then you have this certain pattern that occurs here, but it's not really. It just kind of jumped off of that. But, you know, the point is strong trends reject the 14 EMA, and very often multiple times. And if you've defined this strong trend properly and you're not seeing demand and you're not at some major level here or anything wacky, it's a good high probability scalp. Could have had it here, didn't quite set up, didn't get there. Combining with a break test is nice. Everything is on Wyckoff? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The facts that end up mattering are, yeah, what Wyckoff phase are you in? I mean, scalps are even a smaller version of that. Or we're on the 5-minute chart marking, you know, accumulation and automatic rally and those same patterns, even on small time frame. Yeah, so that Wyckoff stuff, that template never goes away. It's a template of the market, period, Wyckoff. It is the template of how the market works. Does it mean that it's going to do those patterns all the time? Obviously not. But you have a starting point. You're saying this is what it's going to do unless, right? This is the probability of what's going to happen if volume agrees, if the chart says so. And that's what smart traders are looking at, right? They're buying the dips on uptrends. They're getting out at high prices on uptrends before everyone else even sees it. That's distribution. But yeah, Wyckoff and volume. And then, yeah, I guess you could go too deep into it where it's just an overload of things that you don't even need to know. Sarth TV, hello, welcome. I'm probably ending soon. We had a good trade today, had some good trades yesterday. I'm usually here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, everyone, you could join the Discord. The link is in the description for the Discord, and I will let you know, like, if I'm streaming or not. So you always get a heads up. Today is my Friday. I'm done. I don't know what you guys are hearing in the background. I completely forgot. All right, whatever. Nothing. All right, anything else before I go? Not so much buying here on the pound. You know why, right? They're probably waiting to buy here. So, as usual, most likely, depends. I am tired. I'll pop in the Discord and let's track how things are going. News. 2 hours. You know, there may be a scalp here and there, but the background situation, the U.S. dollars have to figure themselves out. Typically, news will help. Maybe we get strength on news. Or whatever it is. That might give some cleaner background for the U.S. dollar going forward. Tends to clean things up. And on the yen pairs, right? Particularly the pound, but generally the yen is weak. So looking to buy against the yen. Getting into new low ground for the day, yes, right? Hunting these stops. Getting traders to chase it short, all that is good for us. It sounds so evil. So that is quite possible. You see the EJ, right? That popped into the zone. You see some buying. They're interested. We'll see if that comes around. So that's the plan. Yes, exactly. I agree about that, Troy. Salute to you for waking up too early in the morning at London session opening. It's really hard to wake up, London. Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a regular job I have to go through. I complain, but I'm really, my only commitment is being with my kid in the evening, being home in the evening. Besides that, sometimes I just don't get enough sleep. But yeah, absolutely. The full Wyckoff I found to be too much. The full VSA I found to be too much. I think they may have toned it down a little bit with all the definitions and the sequences and 5 names for the one thing. Yeah. You guys see how I do it, at least. Yeah, it's simplified and more to the point. I forgot what even break the ice means. Is that a pushing through the automatic rally? I forgot. It's been so long. Elliott Wave, yeah. I mean, Elliott Wave and Wyckoff are buddies. Yeah, they're related. The 5 wave, and again, Elliott Wave, same thing. They get too crazy, these Elliott Wave traders. Man, I haven't talked about that in a while. You're keeping me here, Troy. I see what you're doing. He's going to talk about Elliott Wave if I mention it. I know he will. I'll get him here for another 20 minutes. Elliott Wave does the same thing. How many Elliott Wave traders does it take to screw in a light? Wait, what was the joke? You ask 5 Elliott Wave traders for analysis, and you get 12 answers. You got numbers, you got letters, you got freaking Roman numerals. I don't know. Jump the creek. There you go. Break the ice. Break of ice and jump across the creek. Elliott Wave, it's another thing, right? It's like they went too far. Chill, chill, chill. It's a 5 wave up, ABC retracement, 3 wave retracement, 5 wave, 3 wave. That's all, right? And then that fits in with accumulation. Markup is you're right. So your markup goes according. If Elliott Wave and Wyckoff got together to say the markup is 3 pushes up, and on the third one, climactic, right? By then, everyone sees the uptrend. They're all jumping in. Fear of missing out, right? And all that. Good news. And on the Elliott wave stuff, right, and on the Wyckoff stuff, the reaccumulation spots, if you notice the way it's drawn, yeah, it's a 50 to 618. It's all the same. It's all that, right? So, yeah, some of these things got a little too complicated. Just take the basics and combine them, and they all get along. Yeah. Risk reward. Man, you're keeping me here. I can't not answer questions. You caught me, found the way to keep the webinar going forever. Very special webinar live stream. Again, theory. Stop. Risk reward is built into the setups as far as, getting in a trade in an area where your stop loss is not large because of the pattern, because of the place you're getting in. So I don't really worry about risk reward. It's built in. Having said that, I mean, I'm not looking for less than 1-to-1. Then I feel like you're working against yourself. But it's not. It's not like what drives any real. I'm getting in and out of trades based on what the chart's saying. For example, what did we have, a 25 pip stop on the pound short, GU short today, and then my final exit was somewhere around 35 pips. Okay, so it's a little better than 1-to-1. If I was up 20 pips, not even 1-to-1, and the chart said this trade is bad now, right? We sold, maybe we see high volume strength. Strength gets confirmed on the next 5-minute candle. I'm up 20 pips. I'm going to start, right, move, stop, break even, trim it down, understand that risk reward, yeah, that's nice. This is reality, right? Not to sound like an ass, but people that are, I mean, it is what it is, man. I speak the truth. People that are obsessed with risk reward, your target has to be 2x, 3, 4 times the size of your stop loss. They don't know how to predict price. So they look at the charts and they go, this is 50-50. I don't know where this thing is going to go. But if I'm only right half the time and my wins are bigger than my losses, then I'll make money because I can't predict price. All I know is if I win a larger amount on my wins, 50-50, then I lose on my losses, I'll make money, right? Here's the problem. Once you get past 1-to-1, you're no longer dealing with 50-50. If your target is twice as big as your stop loss, you have a much higher chance of hitting your stop loss than the target if you can't predict price properly. So then you end up nowhere. I rather just listen to the chart. The reward, the risk reward is built into the setups, but I will manage a trade accordingly. Sometimes it's a huge target compared to my stop. Sometimes it's small, whatever the chart says. Gann theory. I forgot what that even is. Is that related to Wyckoff? No. I don't know. AU, what'd you take on that? A short? Yeah, I ended up passing on that. Well, how would I handle this trade if I was in it? I can at least tell you that. There's the last swing point. Let me draw that in. All right, what's going to save this maybe if you're in a short and it's a scalp? Your 618 overshoots sellers coming in. If that doesn't show up and it continues through, then it could come back, as far as a scalp, you don't want that big of a loss, of course. But there's nothing wrong with the small fib and looking at fake break of swing points and saying, okay, beyond that, you should really exit the trade, right? Logical. So you could end up with weakness, fake break, and that's good for the trade, or you can end up without weakness, right, and starting to move up. And as far as a scalp, I would get out. But as I was saying, the behavior here was not quite what I like to see, right? I was talking about patterns and stuff. So it was a bit aggressive. Let's see if that saves you. Most of the consistent traders I've seen take one-to-one risk reward. Yeah, or whatever it is. For me, it's whatever the chart says. Yeah, who the heck knows? You know what it is also, when I get into a trade, there's an area that's very likely to get to, that high probability, like why I'm getting in the trade in the first place kind of thing. And once it gets there, then I have to see, now what? Okay, we knew that was likely to happen very soon. Okay, that was good. Now what are we dealing with at this area? Is it likely to continue or not? Right? And that first spot is usually, yeah, got to be at least one-to-one. So yeah, a little of both, right? But no, not worried about a huge reward over risk. Again, that's just for people who don't know how to read a chart, I think. $1.25, slightly higher reward than risk. There you go, Wixie. There you go. That was me. You're welcome. Good enough, Wixie? Can I close my short now? Okay, good. Let's get the hell out of this. High five. I'm just kidding. I don't think I move Forex markets. I really don't. If the price moves up when I buy, I figure that's a coincidence, that other traders know what they're doing, and it's consensus. Cryptos are another story. Cryptos, yeah. Not Bitcoin, unless you're trading really big, but yeah, some of the smaller ones, it is easy to move price. Mess up somebody's stochastics really bad. I think they are, Carbon. Thanks for the support, though. You're right. Good. Everybody's doing good. I know everybody's at a different phase here. Some people are trading real money. Some people are trading demo, everything in between. That's what you need, Carbon. You need a demo. I'll tell you about that later. You trade as if it's real, but it's a fake account. It's not real money. That's what you need to be doing now that you're doing this. Yeah, lots of volume there, huh? That was a good, who knew that was coming up, right? How to deal with a scalp that's not working. It's all the same stuff, right? 618 and fake break or not. Do we reject 618? Do we make a fake break, bearish pattern, or not? And then you get your answer, whether you want to stay in the trade or not without some big drawdown. Yeah, we got a couple of hype men in here. Troy and Carvin are the hype men. They'll tell everybody to hit the like button. I don't have to say it. Nice, nice. The 1 minute, yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. I think people are more accepting of that now. Back in the day, it's like, the 1 minute is noise. It's just noise. Okay, so detailed information about what's going on in the market is noise. Particularly at a, price area that's important. And you want to see exactly what's going to happen in real time as it's unfolding. Support, test of support. Let's see the 1 minute. Might have told us right away about buyers before it showed up in the 5 minute. Let's see. Yep. I like the 5 minute for patterns. I like it for confirmation. I like it for entry, right? The scalp. 14 EMA is going to be different on the 1 minute, obviously. But this information is completely valid. Look at that. Fake break buying, stop hunt. Yep. Yeah. 1 minute is great for information, but decisions are made on the 5 minute, considering what the 1 minute is saying. Yeah. The buying on the pound yen. Let's go. Probably going to set up for a long later today. Around US. They're buying. They're doing it. Carbon, are you done in 20 minutes? It took out yesterday's low, yeah. And lots of strength. And here's a test for supply at the old support and 14 EMA. Nice. I wouldn't mind seeing that fake break, but it's not mandatory if that sets up there. Fake break, lack of supply. We've already seen strength. Yep. Dollar index. Oops. Yeah. All going according to plan here, huh? Cool. This also has a lot of volume on it, but it did test lower prices. That's, first thing you want to see is, does it create a fake breakout? The sooner the better. It's trying to do that now. And then you'll be testing for supply off the 14, off at the support. Turn resistance, and test for supply here. Again, yeah, you see like the 1 minute helps because you're looking at the 5 minute going, wow, that's even higher volume on an up bar. Isn't that weakness or something? Right? But where did the high volume actually occur during those 5 minutes? Down here. Strength, yes. All right, we'll track the pound dollar. I'll pop in the Discord. I am burnt out and tired. But here we're looking for a test of supply and see if we get that. Yes. That's where we wanted it to go. I'm a little hesitant also because of the time of day. You know these things tend to play out US session, but a setup is a setup if it's clean. And test for supply here. We can look at it in the Discord. I'm getting like a headache. I'm so tired. I need to lay down. Very, very productive week for me. Very good week. I'm spent. Good stuff. Good stuff. 14 EMA on 1 minute. Yeah, you know, it seems to do something, right? Again, I'm not trading off of it, but it's information. Yes, I did notice that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's likely a trap move, Carbon. It's likely moving down just to get people to sell. And also, whoever bought before, get them to sell off and take a loss. Because when they sell off, guess who buys it? The smart guys. Because we had the spot mapped out from the beginning. We know where they like to do things. All right, we'll follow in the Discord. Thank you, everybody, for attending and making it fun this week. Once again, trading went well. Time flies by. Next week, I do plan to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, unless something comes up. You had a nap already? Okay, good. You lead the Discord then. I'll go sleep. Unless Carbon wants to play Call of Duty, then maybe we'll do that. Very welcome. Thank you, guys. Yes, the most important lesson for a trader. Price goes up and down. Yes, both directions. Exactly. You want to play DMZ? Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm so tired, but I want to try it. All righty. It's on. It's on. Yes, looking forward to next week. Trading is a lot more fun with you guys. Good stuff. All right, take care. See you soon. Everyone join the Discord. I'll see you in there.